Two. Welcome to another episode of the PLA podcast. I have an incredible guest here that I'm so excited to jump into this conversation with. Anuroop, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Dania. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
It's a true treat. And for our audience to get to know you, I've prepped a little bit of your story from everything I've gotten to know of you, from the PLA community and everything you've shared with me. And I'd love for them to just get an insight on the beautiful journey you've been through. So today's guest is Anuroop Katta, CX IT operations manager at Train Technologies. Born in India, he moved to the United States at the age of 22 to pursue higher education. Completed his master's degree in electrical engineering after arriving in the US and began his career as an Oracle developer. Later expanding to ERP systems, he discovered his lifelong passion in the integration space, where he spent nearly 13 years. His roles included developer, lead architect, and technical manager. In 2024, he made the bold career pivot into customer experience and took on the role of senior manager at SX Technologies. His leadership is grounded in clear values of customer-first thinking, purpose-driven problem solving, and empathy-led leadership. Outside work, Anuroop values deep connections and continuous learning. He's a lifelong learner, exploring new ideas and skills continuously, and obviously a proud husband and father of two, bringing curiosity, growth, and heart into everything he does. And welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you. That was a very excellent introduction, Dania. Thank you very much.
I actually love this part of the podcast because it allows me this opportunity to share with you what your story has been, which is oftentimes not the case. So it's a true treat. Yeah, it's a true treat to have
down the memory lane of like how it started and all that stuff back in 2006 all the way to now.
Absolutely. And, even in this 20-year gap, in this 20-year journey that you've been on, I'd be curious to know, now hearing your story and in some ways taking time to reflect on everything that's happened and everything that you've learned and experienced throughout these 20 years. What do you wish someone had told you at the very beginning of your career, knowing everything that you know now?
That's an interesting question. So when I, as I told you, like I came to this country when I was 22, very young, right? Came for my higher studies. One advice that I got from my parents and my family is believe in hard work. It will take you, to success. So I was following that one, like work hard, when I got into the job, work those extra hours or whatever it is, make sure that, deliver.
Yes.
But as I started moving, right, one thing happened is like the hard work was taking you from point A to point B. That's good. But it's not taking you to the point C.
Mm.
So one thing that was there was, it's not just the hard work that will take you to the eventual success. You need to work on your visibility. You need to work, able to, speak up in the meetings and all that stuff, right? Another thing is you have to, be confident.
Yeah.
Right. That thing was, there was always this self-doubt in myself, like, can I do this? Right.
Totally.
I was, I think, like taking the decision for the other people, thinking that, okay, I'm not the right person. There were some opportunities which I missed along the way where I thought I was not the right person. I was not the qualified person. Right. And as you mentioned in the bio, where I pivoted from 13 years of integration space into customer experience space, which I had very less experience in. At that time, I was still doubtful, but one of the leaders has, guided me through that one, right? Said that you have to be confident, you have the skills, you have come all this way with those skills, and you have hard work as your backbone, right? So I think you should be uncomfortable
Yeah.
and move forward. Otherwise, you will be stuck in one place, right? So I think that was one of the advices that probably if I had got it, very early in the career or something, probably it would have turned out something different, right? So that's what I would say. Uh,
Yes. I love the share because there are many layers to it, like you've presented it. That very first step is the hard work. But if you cannot bring hard work with visibility, you will not be able to capitalize on what you've brought to the
right,
table. And so I love this that having and I even love the fact that you said, the backbone was the hard work, but the backbone without, the meat, the muscles, the flesh, you can't get to the extent of what we can create.
right,
Yeah, and you're right, every single point of our careers, there are opportunities that are within our reach, but doubts will still live in our mind. And the power of having mentors and great guiding voices along our journey allow us to really take those steps, or we know it's possible, we know we're capable of doing it, but doubt and fear will always be, a player at that table, and it's knowing how to cope and how to still move forward regardless.
right. Yep. I think removing the advice that I got is like removing self doubt, and don't try to take the decision
Mm.
for yourself, which should be taken by someone else, that whether you're qualified or not, right?
Mm.
Oh,
Wow. Don't leave the question around qualification in someone else's hands. Wow, that is so good. And I think that I hope everyone listening is taking a moment to just pause and reflect on this. Are you leaving this question around qualification in someone else's hands? And this may be in a new project, this may be in a new opportunity, this may be in a career pivot like you've experienced in Anuroop. And it's just an invitation, like everyone can see that next level, that next opportunity, and they're asking themselves, can I really do this? And are they really the ones honing and taking full ownership around this question around qualification, while knowing that self-doubt may be tainting that viewpoint for sure.
yeah, I mean, I have spoke to so many people that go through this process. I say, like, try it out. There's no harm in it. That's what I'm guiding right now. People, like,
Yeah.
do it imperfectly. That's totally fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was having this conversation yesterday. I love that we're having this today. I was having this conversation yesterday about NBA players, and they miss more shots on net than the average person will ever take. And so, they look like all-stars to us, but really no one's seeing all of the shots they're missing. And so we're seeing a fraction of the shots they ever take. And it's like this invitation of saying, if I'm waiting to make a perfect move, I'm never going to make the move necessary to make it perfect.
Yep. There is. I don't think there is a perfect move.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if unless like you have all your stars aligned and all that stuff, that's a different story. But I think just do it imperfectly, right? There's either two things that would happen. You would be successful at it, or you might be a failure, but you'll learn a lesson for the next one.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I oftentimes share this with our PLA podcast guests. You know, a lot of what we're seeing in marketing, a lot what we're seeing even on social media, a lot what we're seeing on LinkedIn is this piece of the highlight reel. These were the great accomplishments of my career. These are all the skills I've acquired. Look at how amazing the journey has been. And we don't talk about the challenges. And I think that it's really in the challenges that build the character of who we are to be able to create these amazing things and achieve these accomplishments. So I'm curious to know, what were the greatest challenges of your career, and how were they, in some ways, a wonderful gift to you in that journey of growth and transformation?
Yeah, I think that's a loaded question. I would say, right? I would say, like, everyone faces challenges, whether it's like personal or professional life,
Yeah.
and I'm no exception to that one. The thing, from a challenges perspective, it was not really the technical things. Like if you look at my space, like I moved from different roles. Um, it was more uh, the previous thing, like the self-doubt and
Mm.
the fear, right?
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest challenge. That's the challenge number one. Like I was scared to speak in the meetings.
Yeah.
I had these ideas or thoughts that were running in my mind, but I
Mm.
wouldn't speak up.
Wow, wow, wow.
There were scenarios where I wanted to ask a particular question to the leadership, and I was scared to type that question, or I was scared to ask that question. Someone else would ask the same question.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could have had that little bit of, you
Mm.
know, courage to do that, right? I think that was one of the challenges that I faced probably at least until mid of my career.
Wow, wow.
And then, that 1 inch of courage and all that stuff that slowly started moving. I think
Mm.
that was one thing that I had to slowly start let go. I'm not saying that I'm like 100% courageous now or something. I still have the fears. I still have, that self doubt kicks in whether I'm asking the right question or not. But as I started thinking about like, okay, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, someone is taking your opportunity or your, you know, opportunity to shine, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so now I started asking questions. I started sharing my opinions, right? So I started doing, and that's what I would tell my team and young leaders, anyone like, there's no right or wrong in
Yeah.
your question. Just go ahead and ask it.
Mm.
If it is wrong, someone will correct it and you will learn out of it, right?
Beautiful.
You have to, there's always something that you will get out of it.
Mm.
So that was one of the main things. And then the other thing was 13 years of journey in the integration space, right?
Yeah.
So that became my comfort zone. I was very comfortable,
Wow.
right? Don't want to take any risk. It's going good. My ratings were good. Every year in review was good because I was good in that space. Mm. I used to experiment with the technology, but I was still in the integration space, right? It was comfortable. Okay, someone wake me up in the night. Hey, we have a problem in this space. Yeah, let's do this way, right? That's how I was. But I think when the opportunity came in 2024, I was still comfortable. I don't want to move, right? And that's when I had good guides said, like, you start becoming, I think everyone should be, uncomfortable
Yeah.
to make those pivots in your career. So that's what I would say. I would advise to people.
Wow.
Um, yeah, because 2025 is the year where I did so many uncomfortable things.
Amazing. Wow.
Right? You don't know, Dunya. You won't believe me. I was a lazy person in terms of workout.
Wait.
You should talk to my wife. She would say, like, I won't get up from my couch, just work, watch TV, relax, right? No workout.
Mm.
I joined CrossFit in 2020. So I completed 2 years in CrossFit. A person who was sitting on the couch, it's like I say couch to CrossFit. If I had to write a book, right? That's my story, right?
Wow.
I'm surprised. I'm like, I started like, okay, let's go try for 1 month, right? 1 month became 6 months, 6 months became 1 year,
Wow.
1 year became 2 years. I'm so proud of that. I'm like, I don't want to boast about myself, but
Yes.
somewhere you have to start uncomfortably.
Yeah.
In 2025, Actually, in 2024 or 23, I was talking to Venkat. He was mentioning about half marathon and all that stuff because I was talking about my health and all that stuff. I'm like, who would run for 13 miles? That's so boring, right? Then in 2025, at the start of 2025, I said, like, let's do a half marathon.
Beautiful.
Let's try to do a half marathon, right? I wasn't even confident about doing it, but the goal for 2025 is do a half marathon, right? I did 2.
Wow.
So the imperfectly starting, right? Get out of your comfort zone, start something you're uncomfortable. I'm speaking to you now today, but I was scared to speak. As I told you, I have fear and everything. So one of the things that I did uncomfortable in 2025 was hosting an event at my work.
Incredible.
I was those persons who used to stand back at the event. Now I'm on the main stage hosting an event with my co-host. That was, I think, one of the other uncomfortable thing that I have done.
Wow.
So I think these were the challenges, and this is how I have tried to, coming out. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Again, there's no perfection, right? You keep being imperfect, keep trying it. That's what I would say.
Yeah. I love that there's so much that you shared there, and the piece around self-mastery. Like, it's actually not about technical skills, and it's not about, it's about the part of the journey that will be with us forever, which is ourselves, which is the mind, which is facing our fears, which is standing outside of our comfort zone. And I love that, from couch to CrossFit. That's a fantastic metaphor, and it's so powerful because I'm sure so many people listening are thinking, "Oh, that's just not me." And
Right.
it's saying, "Well, wait a minute. One day that was also not me, and I was once a person who didn't believe that that could be my identity until I just decided I'm going to take one step." And then one step was 1 month. 1 month was 6 months. 6 months was a year. Year turned to 2 years. And so it's like, take that imperfect action and allow yourself to not be. And I love that piece that you even shared around. I had certain mentors that are saying, "Hey, you're getting very comfortable right now. Like, you could stay here, but there's a lot of opportunity on the other side of discomfort and trying something new."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are guiding forces behind this one, right? To get out of the comfort zone. And you need those mentors to be able to be successful.
Yeah. There's a powerful process in coaching, or a way of a principle really in coaching, that says all of us in life, we are going to have times where we cannot see ourselves in our light, in our abilities. And it's in those moments can we for one another, even not in a coaching setting, but we for one another, hold each other accountable, or hold that vision saying, "Hey, you once believed in this. I know right now the doubts are taking over, the fears are taking over, the questioning and all of that. But it's like, I'm going to hold the vision for you as you move through this transformation, as you move through this piece." So even can we do that for ourselves? Is even if in this moment I'm thinking, how could that even be possible? Could I just allow myself to even put the vision to the side without getting rid of it? Like, just allowing it to exist and be there and be present, even though in this moment I'm thinking, this is almost quasi impossible. So many people, so many brilliant young people are entering this field of technology in a time where times are and things are changing so much, like AI, which I want to jump into in just a moment. But first question I want to ask you is, what would you give as a piece of advice, or what would you like to share with this next generation that is entering the field of technology, especially at a time of so much change?
So one thing that I would advise the new generation that's entering the technology, because I work with those people in my team as well, is what is the business problem, or what is the problem that we are trying to solve, right? Focus on that one. There's so many technologies. There's like, if you look from left to right, there's a new technology that's coming in, right? Don't worry about that. First thing is build your foundation, right? As I said, like empathy is the main thing. Empathy to anything, right? Like whether you are working with a business user, so what is the problem that we are solving for them? What makes their life better? How can we make our organization to scale, right? What is the problems that we can solve so that our organizations can scale?
Mm,
Because organization success will be equivalent to our success, right?
yeah,
So I think focusing on that is a main thing. I mean, like
yeah,
this generation, I mean, like I've seen people like they are working so hard. They are into technology from the very early age. So I don't think there is a challenge over there for them to move into different technologies and all that stuff,
yeah,
right? But getting that foundation, right?
yeah,
That's like that will help you to grow. I mean, like hard work is again a foundation. Work on your visibility, right? But what are we trying to solve for the organization that you're working for? That's going to be the main thing, right? So
oh, I love this.
how are you bringing the value, right? And
Mhm.
how are you tagged to the goals of an organization, right?
I think there's something really important that you bring up in here in this answer is this piece around there are so many distractions because there are so many opportunities. There are so many solutions. There are so many tools. Like you said, there's so many technologies that we're looking left, right. Every single day, there's a new tool being created. But what is the intention? What are we trying to do? What are we facing? What is the problem we are trying to solve? And keeping laser focus on that to know to be able to filter through so much data and information and tools and technologies is going to be important. And I
Right,
think that being able to filter through so much information is going to be their challenge in this next generation, or is the challenge we're all facing right now with so much opportunity, which we didn't have previously. I think that there's definitely something there. And you bring up this piece that's really important is they grew up in technology. So there's a natural understanding and tendency to functioning and working with technology each and every day.
right. I mean, like when I was growing up, probably I had seen internet after my when I was in my bachelor's or something, right? Using the internet, that too, like dial-up internet and all that stuff. Uh, from there, we are coming all the way to AI and all that stuff. But I mean, like kids over here, my kid is in sixth grade. Like he knows, like he can operate the technology probably better than me. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's technology is not going to be a barrier to the new generation. I think focus on your foundations. Right? The foundation is important. What you're trying to, solve is important. Is it going to give a outcome, better outcome, right? Focus on the outcomes. Try to There's, as I said, like there's so much technology and everything, but try to solve, there's a problem that try to put it in a plain English, like what exactly are we solving, right? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no meaning. Because if you just get into technology and just focus on it, and you might get like too many distractions and all that stuff. Unless you focus on what exactly, slow down, focus on, what are we trying to solve. So that's what I would, and be empathetic. Be
Yeah.
empathetic to your user. Be empathetic to your, team members.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, I love that. Focus. Focus on the problem you're solving, focus on the task at hand. What's the intention? What are we trying to get to? What is the outcome we're trying to create or the problem we're trying to solve? And the piece around empathy, I think, is essential because we are working in teams more than ever.
Right.
Working with teams close to us at the office, or each and every one of us in our homes through hybrid work models, or with teams overseas. And without that piece, it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to get to those solutions and be able to solve these problems as effectively as possible.
Right.
Oh, amazing. And so I'm curious to know, this brings me to my next question. What's your take on AI? You know, what is in your experience with AI or your perspective? I'd love to know.
Yeah, that's a hard topic. I don't think a day goes by, an hour goes by without, using the word AI, right? At this point. I mean, as I said, I have been in this integration space for 13 years. I mean, the core thing about integration is about automation, right? Automate things so that you don't have to manually do some things, right? So, and AI is probably making it 10x or 20x better. Uh,
Mm.
but again, it comes back to two things that I would say I was speaking in the before question, right? Two things.
Mhm.
What is the outcome
Mm.
that you're going to, provide with this AI?
Yes.
And then do you have the necessary foundations? I don't want a flashy POC to be done and then, okay, now I'm an AI expert, right?
Mm.
I want to use this to bring value to the end user, whether it's your customer, whether it's an internal employee, right? And AI has that ability, but you need to make sure that what you're trying to solve for, right? Um, Otherwise, it's just using another technology just to
Mm.
show it off and all that stuff. That's what. So you need to first thing is you need to build your foundations. Like for AI to better work,
Yeah.
you need to have better data.
Mm.
You need to have better understanding of the existing business processes, your workflows and everything, right? And obviously the skills are very important too.
Yeah.
You have these foundations, then from these workflows or business
Mm.
things is where you will find, okay, this is the place that you can automate, this is the place that you can reduce human effort,
Yeah.
so that in the humans, instead of spending on that
Mm.
effort and thing, can try to use it for more productivity and
Yeah.
use it as your co-pilot. I see like, oh, AI can become an autopilot, but my feeling is there will be always human in the loop.
Mm.
And it is necessary. You cannot just put everything on AI,
Yeah.
is what I feel. Might change over time, but at this point, I feel like
Yeah.
still, there needs to be a human. For example, like we were experimenting with one of the AI tools to generate code, right?
Mhm.
It was giving lines of code, but you have to eventually look through the code to make sure that it's the right. You cannot just take it and then plug it in. I mean, there were scenarios like it did help. It did definitely, increase the productivity in different aspects. Like I've been using it from the time it came, and I started using it to create agile stories, which probably reduced my effort from
Yeah.
3 hours to like an hour.
Good.
And the first happy thing that we had was like we had this one particular problem where we had a lot of performance issues, a piece of code that was creating performance issues.
Mm.
And then we used ChatGPT was early at that time. We didn't use that. It did give something, and then we were trying to take that and make few changes, and then it did really help. I mean, like it doesn't improve the productivity, but is it
Absolutely.
solving your problem, right? Not just for some POCs or I want to be an expert or something like that. Try to see like what is the business problem that we are trying to solve, or what is the technical problem that we are trying to solve, and then start using that in that context, providing better information to it, because like it's garbage in, garbage out kind of thing, right? Like the amount of information that you provide and all that stuff, uh, it can give you a better result and all that stuff. But
Mm.
at the end, as I said, right, like it's the foundations and what are we trying to solve, what is the outcome that we are going to get is the main thing. Whether
Mm.
anything we take AI, automation, anything, that's what I think.
You brought something up at the very beginning of your answer that just kept feeding through for the rest of what you were sharing. And I was thinking, wow, we need a better understanding of our problems to create more effective solutions. And it was like, wow, if we don't really understand the problem we're solving, it's great to use AI. But the reality is we're not going to get to the solutions of what we need to be able to solve these exact problems. And without an understanding of the problem, you can't, create, discover, or generate through AI, effective, truly effective solutions. So there's some, and I love that piece around, AI is now taking over a big chunk of our work. That is the reality. Is it's going to help, it's going to support, but we do need a human to be able to guide the technology and tool and say, hey, I'm prompting you to create something of this sort, because the machine itself isn't going to ignite, at least from what I'm understanding, even myself and my biased perspective and opinion of what's happening at the stage right now, is it's not going to trigger or ignite some kind of start, or it's not going to know what direction to take it in, at least an effective direction. Because, AI, as we've seen, poorly prompted leads us to poor places.
Right.
It may sound very, very intelligent and well put together, but really it's not solving the problem we're trying to address.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I mean, like you go create something using AI. If it's not used, then there's no value out of it, right? Like I think that's what I'm trying to focus this year is how to measure the value, right?
Yeah.
Uh, let's say we are going to go build a use case. I want to see how to measure that value. How can we show the leadership or organization that, hey, we did this. This is the value that is bringing in, whatever it is, like whether it's in customer experience, sales, or anything, right? It's not that, okay, we built something in 10 days, we built something in 100 days or something like that. How is it generating the value?
Yeah.
That's what I want to focus on in 2026.
And this brings me to my next and favorite question to ask on the PLA podcast is, speaking of the future and speaking of focus and things you want to create, what is one piece, what is a legacy and impact you're still looking forward to leaving behind in this world and life?
Yeah, that's a very tough question. Uh, so as you went through my bio, I came at 22 to this country, and now I'm 40 plus. There are a lot of people that have helped me throughout my journey,
Wow.
right? So when I came to this country uh, with some money to pay for my college, my sister and brother-in-law, they were here to support me, right, financially. I think if they weren't there, probably I wouldn't have been here,
Wow.
right? And then when I moved into university, I was studying uh, university, which was very expensive.
Mhm.
And I don't know how it happened. There was one of my roommate who came to work in the same town. He said, like, by the time you are done with your studies, you will be in a lot of debt if you are studying here.
Mm.
Try to find a place where you can get some funding, where you can get, scholarships and all that stuff. And then he guided me to that path
Wow.
where I was in a negative in my first semester to positive by end of, by completing my master's. Like I was debt free.
Incredible.
So,
Incredible.
and then I entered the job market, and it was 2008. It was really a crappiest market at that time. And one of my cousins helped me find my first job. He trained me,
Mm.
uh, he helped me get my first job. And then through my journey in my career, many leaders have helped me, you know, to pivot to different things, and then making me better, right? So these have happened, in some shape and some form, but I want to see how I can make it more, take this as my inputs, right?
Mm.
And how I can help other people
Yeah, beautiful.
to, these have happened probably more informally, right? Like I want to see how I can do it formally through mentorship or through guidance or,
Mm.
you know, one of the sessions recently with Scott Hanselman, like he was mentioning about like, remember your roots, help your people, right? So that's what one thing that I'm trying to see is like how I can help people. There are some cases I couldn't help because of different reasons and all that stuff. Like I was busy with family or something going on. Uh, but I want to make sure that if anyone is reaching out for help, try to make sure that listen to it, how I can help, or at least like move, help them into go to another person that can help. So that's what one of the things that I want to. If people remember about Anuroop, I want them to remember like he's a helpful person, right? So that's the legacy that I want to leave.
That's beautiful.
Uh, One other thing is uh, I over my span of like 20 years of career, like I was doing a lot of work and all that stuff. I don't know how much I spend time with my kids, right? I am realizing it now like that I should spend more time with my kids, right? Uh, be a better parent,
Mm.
be a better husband, so and be a better brother, be a better kid for my parents, right? Like so that's what I'm trying to see, like how I can leave that legacy as well. So
Beautiful.
from a family perspective, from a professional perspective, I
Yeah.
got I'm here because so many people helped me through my pain. I'm not going to say like I'm a self-made person, I worked hard and I got here. No.
Yeah.
There's so many people along the line who gave that necessary push, necessary help. Otherwise I would be sitting and talking to you today.
I love this. And Ruben, and it's so touching how, you are so grateful for that. And so, and you recognize it with such clarity that you wouldn't be who you are or where you're at today if it wasn't for all these people, and that your commitment is to be one of these people for others. And I love this. I think it's very, very powerful and important. If everyone in the world started to ask themselves this question, and it's not about helping in every single opportunity possible, because that may not be possible.
Right.
It's, when opportunities present themselves, in the opportunities that we can, that we take advantage of being able to be those people and, giving back to the next person.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's a reciprocation, right? I got help. I help someone. They help someone, right? That's how it should be going, is what I feel. Um,
absolutely.
I think that will change everything.
Mm, totally. Which brings me to my last question on the PLA podcast. We are on the PLA podcast, so obviously we have to address this incredible community that is PLA. What has been one of the biggest takeaways you've gotten from your journey with PLA so far?
PLA. So I've been in PLA for 6 months, but probably I would say I'm more than a year because I was in different sessions of PLA and then I was in communication session with Brandon.
Beautiful.
Um, First thing is taking action.
Mm,
I think action taking is important.
yeah.
I think that's how I was able to do all these uncomfortable things in 2025, right? Otherwise, I would have been again the person on the couch.
Yeah.
Uh, Second thing is the proximity to the people.
Mm,
Learning from the experiences of people, hearing to those experiences itself will make your mind shift differently, right?
mm,
The challenges they faced or how they got to their success,
yeah.
right? The proximity to the people is another thing.
Yeah.
And then doing the things imperfectly,
Yeah.
right? I think those are the three things that
Mm,
I mean, those are very close to my heart. And then the byproducts are like the visibility, right? Uh,
Wow.
so that's what I would say if you ask me, uh, like action taking, proximity, right? Uh,
Yeah. And what I love is some people may think, "Wait, that's so simple." But let's really ask ourselves, how often do we take action? It seems simple, but most people don't do it. And, finally having a space that says, let's take action, let's take it imperfectly, let's create visibility and get results, because it takes the reps to be able to get the transformation. And if
right.
you are unwilling to take every single opportunity that comes to you and just say, "Hey, I'm going to take imperfect action and I'm going to keep showing up," there's a lot of opportunity we're leaving on the table that, is within our reach.
I mean, like take action, and then the opportunities they start flowing. I think that's what I would say, right? And
Yeah.
just do it imperfectly. Uh, there's nothing right or wrong. You will have an outcome out of that one. You will have a positive outcome of that one. Like you do it right, you know how to do it. If you do it wrong, you know how not to do it and how to do it in a better way next time. Right? There's an outcome, and just take that outcome, learn from it, be a continuous learner. That's what I would say,
Mm.
and implement it.
I love it. And for anyone who is curious and has never heard of a PLA episode before, this is your first episode you're tuning into for whatever reason, and you're curious about PLA, the PLA community hosts these incredible free trainings. And I tell every single person, and I say it on every podcast, even if you never hear of PLA again and you would just attend one of these trainings, you will leave with so much value that will serve you for the rest of your life and career. And you will get results even within the time frame of this workshop. It is something that's been incredible. It's been refined. So if you want any information on just the workshop itself and would like to attend one, this is the QR code where you can find all of that information. And like I said, even if you never hear of PLA again, you'll be blown away by the value and tools that you can get simply from this workshop. And that's why I recommend it to every person. Anuroop, thank you so much for being a guest today and for your incredible wisdom and shares. And looking forward to having you on as a guest again.
Thank you, Dania. Thank you for taking time to talk to me, and thank you for taking me down that memory lane, and share my opinions.
Beautiful. And looking forward to everyone tuning in to another episode of the PLA podcast. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you.